up and make it work. Yo, if I could do it, then why can't you? Get up and make it work. Ain't no way that I'm sitting around. It's now or never. I'm making it first. You can't tell me that I won't make it. Knew that I had this gift since birth.
So, mid-cut, we're going to walk you through the...
Go ahead.
So mid-cut, we're going to walk you through some of the stuff we did for the SRT and a couple of the other cars that we have in here. We got Trey Set High in the building, cutting the hair, and he's going to get me looking good while I get you talking about this shit box behind me. So behind me is a 2004 Dodge Neon SRT4. This car was brought to us in a very terrible condition, a very terrible state, but at the end of it, it left still a shit box, but a very well-running shit box that actually makes power how it's supposed to. To start, when he brought this car in, he did control arms, he did some suspension work, nothing too crazy, but obviously when we went to test drive it, the car ran terrible. And we brought it to his attention. He's like, yeah, I know, I'm going to have you guys fix it at some point. And I was like, well, we have some options. We went over some of the car and we're like, hey, here's what you should do. And he was like, you know what? Let's just go ahead and get it started. Let's get a move on. And we started with, so obviously the suspension stuff. Once all that was sorted, Brett went ahead, threw the Hall Tech on it. He did all the wiring with boom slang harness. So it is technically a plug-and-play ECU, but there's still some other stuff that needs wired into the car. Get all the CAN bus messages to act like a normal car, so all the dash is going to work, all the buttons are going to work, like boost controller and some other random things that needed to be touched up. So after that, we did a couple pieces of fab work. We did the hood dump, obviously. We remade the dump tube. It was made out of fence posts when it was brought to us. And we did a couple other minor things as far as motor goes, but nothing too crazy. So the turbo that was on it is an actual Garrett. It's a G35 1050, I think, something along those lines. I don't remember exactly. It's been a while since we originally, did the actual tune and build to this car. But the car has a built motor. It has a built trans. We don't know who built it. We don't know what parts are in it. We just know it's built. There's not much backstory to this car, but the guy just said, well, if it blows, and we're just going to send it. So he said, let's just make whatever we can make with it. The wastegate ended up maxing out right at 650 horsepower on our dyno, uncorrected. That is like raw numbers at 36 pounds of boost. Full send calibrations, aka me, tuned it. The car runs amazing. He's got an 8-position switch in the car that does boost control. He has been abusing the car for the past 4 weeks because we got it done like in the middle of winter, so he hasn't had a whole lot of time to drive it, but he's been driving it, he's been enjoying it, beating the snot out of it, and it's staying together. So whoever put the motor together seems to have done a decent job. It is at the end of the day still a shit box. It bounces around on the road when you do a pull. It's super sketchy to go fast in it, but it's so much fun because of how sketchy it actually is. All you have to know is this thing rips, and if this thing comes up next to you on the highway with some Enki wheels from 2003, different colored bumpers, and a hood dump, it's very deceiving. It's kind of a sleeper, but at the same time it's not, because it has a hood dump. But it's not like a jank built car. It's built well, and it's fast, and it works really well.
I'm Tyler, certified Lamborghini technician. Doing a basic oil change on this Aventador today, so let's get started.
Dude. No.
Where is it? Kind of hide everything on these. All right, so take off the oil cap up here. Automobile. Lamborghini. For this oil change, should we use this stuff or gear oil?
Dude, come on.
It's all the same shit.
It's not, though.
I'm putting this in. That's why they call me Lamborghini certified. It doesn't start anymore.
All right, so quick touch up on the cars behind me. To my left, aka your right, is Mike Wilson's Evo. And I know there's already gonna be 2 weeks from now, when the car is all done and working, the one button that isn't working, I'm gonna get flamed for, don't worry. I get all the CAN bus messages to act like a normal car, so all the dash is gonna work, all the buttons are gonna work. But we are currently building the CAN bus map for it, so that should be done at some point, I wanna say later this week, maybe early next week, so hopefully by the time this video comes out. And there's a couple extra wires hanging out in the engine bay, but those are kind of just things that are like, hey, you know, we might need these later, we might not. So hopefully we figure that out soon. We can clean up all the wiring and loom it all. We should be getting to that, like I said, late next week or early next week. So to my right, aka your left, on the ground is Sean's E36 M3. We didn't really touch base on it a whole lot last week, but it is a LS1 swapped M3 that has a ginormous cam in it for no reason at all, but he wanted chop. So when Sean wants chop, Sean gets chop.
Don't worry about the chop. You don't know shit about chop. I'll chop your fucking credit card in half. How about that?
And he asked me if I can accentuate it in the tune, and that's exactly what I did. So it chops hard.
Chop is fine. Trust me, chop is fine.
It is a track car, like Mike said last week. So we are, tomorrow it's going to Rose Motorsport for an alignment. Elliot should love this one. Seems like a weekly thing that we just go to Rose and this guy shows up. I don't know why he's still here, but. So crooked Momo steering wheel, that's why it's going to Rose. All-Tech IC7 dash. Switch for all the lights, signals, all that other stuff. Start, master fuel switch, that fuel gauge that sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. T56 in it. Also, Sean assumes full liability because he did not give me a seatbelt. So, Sean, if you're watching this, if I die, it's on you, big dog. It's on you. There she is. Big shout out.
We're here every week. This is a constant thing.
Seriously, it is. So the car is running a Haltech ECU. We are going to dive into this car at some point, but I'm just going to give you a quick little pointers now. The car is running a Haltech ECU with a Haltech harness. It's a Haltech Rebel IC7 dash, super clean, nice setup. It's getting a cage at some point. We will be fabricating, obviously, and once we get that in, the car is going to be ready for the track. We got to get some harnesses in the car, make it actually, safe for track driving. Above the E36 is Bobby's black Aventador. So this is this week's feature car, so we're gonna dive in a little bit more and go for a drive now. Sometimes you gotta come visit this guy because he takes the mic to go shoot cinematics. Oh, it's cinematic.
It's dark? Oh no, dude, it's cinematic. It's raining out. No, it makes it more cinematic. My settings are fucked up. No, I was going for a cinematic look.
Why would you take the microphones to shoot cinematic?
Huh?
Why would you take the microphones to shoot cinematic?
It's just been on my camera.
God. And then you're out here telling me, why didn't you get this? Why didn't you get this?
He's an angry elf.
Well, we're gonna start this week off with something a little more special. We unfortunately had to delay the recording because this week has been absolutely hectic. We've had a lot of stuff going on. I know we say this every week, but it seems like ever since we started this channel and actually started taking this seriously, everyone wants their car done right now. And it's been a lot to deal with. I don't really know how in depth I can go with this car because you don't really have to do much to make these cars great and enjoyable. But I'm gonna give you a little backstory on Bobby and how we know him, all the things we've done for him, and we're gonna tell you how we ended up in this situation where I'm driving an Aventador on my birthday. Yes, today's my birthday, Wednesday, April 22nd. So I want to say about 4 years ago, we met Bobby. He bought a LP Gallardo Dash 2 convertible. He brought it to us for an oil change, and we immediately clicked as friends. We showed him a couple of the things that we've done in the past, and he agreed. Actually, we didn't even bring it up. He just came up to us and said, hey, how about some twin turbos on this? We said, cool. So we custom fabbed him a twin turbo kit for his Gallardo. I want to say he enjoyed that for 2 or 3 years. 2, I think. The car made like 700 or 750, Steve Pearson tuned. It drove absolutely amazing, and he had a C8 Corvette at the time that was basically completely stock, and a Aventador came up for sale. He's always wanted an Aventador, so this one came up for sale. We went and did a PPI for him. It checked out, everything checked out, clutch life, everything was looking good on the car. So he went ahead and put the Gallardo on consignment and bought the Aventador. And I want to say maybe a month or 2 before that, he got rid of the C8 and got the car that you're going to see a little bit later in this video, which I'm sure the title is already spoiled. But he got this car. It was extremely quiet. Obviously, everything was done to it as far as maintenance-wise goes before he even started driving it. We looked over everything, did oil change, a couple fluid changes, whatnot. He hated how quiet it was compared to his Gallardo, which obviously was a screaming twin-turbo V10. So he came up to us and said, all right, I'm going to give you guys free reign for the exhaust setup. I want it to sound like an F1 car. I don't care how much it costs. And ideally, maybe some valves so we can keep it quiet when need be. So we went ahead, we got Boost Logic mid pipes. Brett did an amazing job fabricating the exhaust for this car. So it has a Revolution Performance exhaust with Valvetronic universal mufflers. Shout out to Valvetronic. They featured us in a video with this car. It sounds absolutely amazing, and the valves work wonders when it comes to keeping a V12 quiet.
But this has to be some of the craziest stuff I have ever seen come through our DMs. Revolution Performance, huge shout out to them if you guys are watching this video. They DM'd us a couple clips. We get asked all the time about the universal muffler and how it can be used on many different vehicles. This is what we got. Music.
Fantastic. Okay, so Aventador S with our full exhaust, equal length downpipes. Yeah.
That's where the catch is. Let me show you something.
Is there a different system? What? Are you serious?
Okay, let me show
That
you
is
guys.
unbelievable. Wow, look at that. That's fantastic.
Dude, that's our UVMs on an Aventador S. Fully custom fabbed.
Wow, that is, I mean, let's take for a second the X pipe, which is beautifully done.
Mm-hmm.
The way they have the muffler sections, like with 90s on it, and it probably comes up and is fish mouth into the section of the after the cap bag comes together after the V band is fucking awesome. Wow.
We did a longer X pipe to kind of bring out that high pitch raspy noise that Aventadors make. It sounds absolutely amazing. We got it tuned by Steve Pearson again. He gave us the big flame map because what's an Aventador without flames, let's be honest. And you gotta hit the DMO DJ shifts every time we drive an Aventador. You ain't shifting like me, mate! Obviously, us and Bobby are very good friends. We go over to his house for cookouts, so whenever he can't make it to a car show that his son wants to go to or he wants the car at, he tells us, hey, come pick up the cars. You know, you and Michael go drive the cars to this car show. I want them there, but I'm in Puerto Rico or wherever the hell he's in this specific week. But yeah, you know, after driving this car for a while, you start to realize they're not that intimidating. Obviously it's intimidating because it's a very expensive car and you're driving it on Canton roads. But, you know, it's once you get that free open road, nothing compares to a big Lambo with a screaming V12. Nothing does. You can't even come close to the sound or the way this car feels on the road. Just got a text from Bobby, leaving my house now. So, let's go get this back to the shop and let's show you what else he's bringing to us. But we're gonna have some room here to do another pull. Hopefully you guys can hear this thing. It's one of like the main beautiful things about this car is just the sound. And the fact that you can hit these shifts. These shifts, mate! And as I bounce around in the seat, go ahead, Caden. Put the drewski in.
What do you mean by that?
Bouncing around. So funny. I don't know why, but every time I'm in this car, I feel like I'm Jeremy Clarkson. Speed and power. Speed and power.
Speed and power. Speed and power. Speed and power. Speed and power.
All right, now to see what Bobby brings us back in exchange for his Aventador S. So right now we are going for a drive on the way to the closed course in Bobby and Audra's 2016 Porsche 911 GT3 RS. Easily one of the most iconic Porsche cars, easily identifiable. At this point, there's very few people that would see one of these and not know exactly what it is. The internet's blown it up, but it's not for no reason. So this car was intended for track use. It was intended to perform and outperform pretty much anything you throw at it. So here we are, closed course, Mexico City, Mexico. This car is not meant for a straight line, but fortunately for us, it does sound absolutely amazing when it's going in a straight line or around the track. So allow me to play the song, my people. Someone could drive this and not smile. Now, while this car is not meant to be fast, it's definitely not slow. So, even though it's built for a track, even though it's built to handle, it does still have to get up and go. Right now, this one has our exhaust system on it, aftermarket headers from Loose Logic, and it's paired with a Steve Pearson ECU and TCU tune. So what the tune does, it basically doesn't push the car too far. It allows this car to live at its full potential, gives it a little bit of an extra bump in power. The shifting is lightning fast. The drivability is there, it's great. We can do flames on these cars as well. This car runs and drives like stock. Doesn't quite sound stock. Bobby and Audra wanted the car louder. Even though it is valved, the difference that it makes, it still doesn't take it to the stock level for exhaust when you have the valves off. But it is a beautiful driving experience that, out of all the times I got to take someone in this car for a ride, not a single person was unimpressed. None of them. Everybody loves the car. Of course, it is nice because a lot of people see these cars online. They dream of seeing one. They dream of being around one. Not a whole lot of people get to drive them or go for a ride in one. So the
guy that owns this has pretty much always been one of the people that if he sees you at a car show, you really enjoy a car, you have respect for a car, he'll take you for a ride. He'll let you drive it sometimes. He will make sure that everyone gets every experience that they can because he knows how important it is for motivating people, for basically inspiring the youth. So when it comes to us, every time we've had the car in the shop or every time we've gone to an event together, he's always like, hey, can you give so-and-so a ride in the Porsche? Can you give so-and-so a ride in the Porsche? Porsche. So throughout this time, a lot of people have gotten to go for a run. A lot of people have gotten to see what it's like when the car performs. Now, we don't go crazy with the cars. Even with his permission, we're not going to go crazy with the customer car. But it is nice to show someone potential without having to worry about, oh, did it sound like he went over 4,000 RPM? Again, let's see what this sounds like. I can't resist it. I can't resist it. It's actually kind of crazy because, of course, it's still hard for me to see a light because I am still an ogre.
I'm an ogre!
But for how small this car is and how well it's built, I fit exceptionally well. So if you look at my legs are almost perfectly straight, comfortable in the car. The carbon bucket seats, definitely not designed with comfort in mind. They're designed for a reason with a purpose. But even for a large person like myself, I can sit in this car and drive it for an extended period of time and not feel like I'm in a can of sardines. So Porsche has always catered to that. The taller people, we have another customer that's an NBA player, and he is able to fit in the Porsche almost as well as I am, and he's over 7 foot tall. So that's one nice thing that makes me enjoy driving this car, is for the pure fact that it's able to be enjoyed by almost anyone. So if I was short, like Tyler,
I'm like, what do you say fuck me for?
I'd roll the seat all the way forward. I can have the steering wheel right in front of me, do whatever I need to do. If I'm tall like myself, I go all the way back. Now, unfortunately, there's no fix for me being larger than intended for the seats. But I still think compared to every other supercar that has really tiny bucket seats or racing seats, these are extremely comfortable and they fit extremely well. What we've got here today, the Aston you guys saw in the other video, had a little mishap, not sure how, but the camera in the front bumper was just dangling in there, which is probably not ideal to seeing the outside of the car if the camera is dangling on the inside of the bumper. Aston Martin, however, decided that the best way to mount this camera would be to use 2 tabs that are attached to a very expensive grill that have no support, that probably just break on their own due to time and weather and conditions. So what we did within about an hour and a half, 2 hours, we took the need, which is this camera with the broken tabs. We found a way to redesign it. We reverse engineered it in CAD. We had everything ready to go and sent it to our 3D printer. Now within about 15 minutes, we're gonna have a finished piece. We're gonna install it on the Aston. It can leave same day, and now we can use the camera again. Another episode of Tyler working on things that he can't necessarily reach. I'm too short. All right, welcome back to part 2 of what the fuck happened to this GTR. So as of now, we've talked and we're not gonna give any names, but we're gonna walk through everything that we're seeing on this car as we're taking it apart. So if you remember back to the last video when I said this car should have a stage 4 Shep built transmission with less than 2,000 miles on it. This is not a Shep built transmission with less than 2,000 miles on it. This appears to be either some sort of core, older core, out of another car, wrecked car, but the transmission itself is indeed stock. So we're gonna take this, drop it off at Shep Trans. We're gonna let them build it up. Chosen to go a separate route. We're not gonna give any names. We'll see where we end up with that, but definitely not what was supposed to be in the car and specified as a stage 4 trans. So if we work our way back here, yes, there is an exhaust on the car. Yes, it's 4-inch. Some of the other minor odds and ends, again, that would appear to the naked eye are still on this car.
Are you certified to do these?
Eating the oil.
I thought you were Lamborghini certified.
Nissan GTR certified too.
What are you? Dude.
All right, guys, starting off the segment with a hat. I'm having a bad hair day, so don't mind me. But before we go, I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about Brett. So Brett works for us. He is our lead fabricator, Honda guru, you name it. The kid pretty much does it. It's crazy because I've almost known him for 10 years. The first time I ever met him, ironically, he asked me to weld a flange on his manifold for his first turbo setup for the RSX. So this weekend on Friday, Brett went to the track and did something extremely special. He became the first person in the world to put the DC5 platform in a 7-second range in the quarter mile.
Dancing on the doorstep of the 7 quarter-mile pass. Let's see if he can get her done.
So big congratulations to the boy. We're super proud of you. All the work you put in, and this car's gone through a crazy transformation, which we're probably gonna put in a different video because it's gone from 300 horsepower and front wheel drive all the way up to well over 1,000 and all wheel drive, and then broke the record all while still maintaining a manual transmission. Also, another very important update. if you guys can see behind me, Dylan's S6 is done. It's done. Well, kind of, because he drove it, and after sitting for so long, the PCV had issues. So essentially, it's going to go back to being torn apart, and Audi engineers really outdid themselves with this one because the PCV is on the bottom of the intercooler. So yeah, it was done. It was running. Not quite done. All right, that wraps up another week. Episode number 6.
Don't you close the garage door.
You guys got to see a lot of the things that we've been working on. You guys got to see all the fucking boxes that are waiting to go to recycling. You saw a bunch of parts that came in. You saw a bunch of cars get wrapped up. You basically saw everything except the essentials of what we said we're going to show you this week. So be patient, stay tuned, like, share, subscribe. But for now, it's time for you to get the fuck out.
How's my jawline look?
Strong. He got that fucking strong jaw. Motherfucker chew gum for fucking this. That's his side job, is chewing gum. Oh, fuck. Here, hold on.
Get my neck. Get my neck.
Hold on. Stay strong. Stay We need to slow-mo that shit.
Yeah, I'm gonna be that guy. It's burbling everywhere. But I'm burbling in an Aventador, right? I'm not doing it in a 3 Series. I'm not being annoying. I'm having fun.
Yep.
Now that the
Straight from the Himalayas. You can't get it. Come through me.
Now
waiting for him to keep spraying.
Yeah, that's what I was like. Now that the barber is dumping a 5-gallon bucket on my head.
Can we just do just fucking
Just fucking water.
But let me cut it first.
Yeah.
Camaro.
That's a GTR.
Oh, shit.
Never in my 22 years of existence have I met such a fucking animal as Michael. I call this man. I'm at Sheetz. I'm on the way down. Hello, Tyga. I'm at Sheetz. On my way down. You want a breakfast sandwich? No. Like, why do you sound so disappointed? No, nothing. It's fine. I'm like, well, I'll get you food. What do you want to eat, Mike? Just give me my normal 2 hot dogs. It's not even 10 a.m. and this man's putting down 2 glizzies? Hey, no shade. More power to him. You're just a dog, my boy. You a dog for the dogs.
The table. How much? 20? Yeah.
This is pretty close to as bad as it